I said that like an hour ago.
No,
Shut the hell up.
No, I think we were talking about that before we started recording. Just a
We
moment.
were kind of getting there, and then
And then we got
I feel
off
like
track.
we touched on it.
Touched
But
it. Whatever.
it was
It's
Mario and John
Mario
for a
and
different
John's.
reason. Yeah,
And you didn't know.
The debut.
Right.
No.
All right.
No,
because I won that.
Because he's a big shit and won a big competition.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a competition. So basically,
you
so
bid
Barrio
on it.
Connor, yeah. So
You
they
bid
were.
on- never mind.
So
You
they
won
did
nothing.
these
You paid
seminars,
for it.
and then later on they had this big like fundraiser, and so you could buy drinks, and then you could buy tickets and kind of win prizes, and then they were like auctioning off all these things, and then literally at the last minute, Janice maybe got off the phone with him, and was like, all right, last minute, like we have a trip to, Michoacan with Puente, my brand, and blah, blah, blah. Wow. And, so we're just going at it. And then me and this gal, Brenna, we're just going back and forth. It was like 400, 450, 500, 550, 600, 650, and then she stopped at 820. She hit 850, and then I was like 1,000. And then she was like, fuck you. And so, yeah.
So he fucking won shit. He paid for it, but it was a donation. It was a donation.
So,
of course.
So it's for a good cause.
We have to talk about that for a second because you have kind of a give back model with your business as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah. Well, we'll touch on that. I think the story gets better, so I want to.
Okay. Finish it. Sorry.
No, that's that.
That
but it was
super
funny.
rude.
It was funny because I remember I was down the street at Agave Uptown, and it's a restaurant of the same group from Healdsburg. And I was a little tipsy because I remember I got the call and I was like, hey. And then she was like, hey, we're at this fundraiser. Like, would you be willing to pay for someone to go to the next trip, which was, I don't know, it wasn't far after you.
No, it was far.
It was
almost like a year. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, because
Okay,
it
so
was like April 2018 that I did this. And then, so towards the end, like probably like 5 months down the road, I like hit up Janice. I was like, yo, what's with the trip? Was that so, cause,
and so
I'm so paying for this.
She's like, we better make a trip.
Yeah, so
there was no trip.
Well, I think because they were going to go in November or something, or she was like, oh, we might actually be going in October. I think originally it was supposed to be like October, November.
Yeah, we ended up going
and
October.
then,
we set the dates.
And then she was like, no, that one's going to be in February. So yeah, like you're still online, so of course I was getting nervous, like at the beginning of this year, cause that's when it happened. And it was like,
another fire festival.
So I was like, yeah.
So that was funny to me because it all happened like very last second. But yeah, it was awesome because then we met and then he went and, here we are. But going back now to your giving model thing, like, with our company, we, what would be the right way of saying it? We had obviously a philanthropic mind, I guess you could say. Like a lot of it more to do with, I obviously live in a world of nonprofits where I see how much donations impact their budgets. And so we've been asked, I don't know how many times now, I've lost track. I feel like we should keep track of this stuff, but we've donated this package where, typically it's been me, but at some point I know it's going to be our team members. We'll donate a full tasting of all our products at your home. So like you invite your friends and then I'll go in. Yeah. We'll go in and then we'll pour and then we'll go through the story of what each expression is, what you should be tasting, all that stuff. And the best collaboration is usually when we can collaborate with a restaurant in conjunction with that tasting, because then they compare it with small bites, or even one time it was just guacamole and chips, but it was at least something to consume the alcohol, like, to absorb it.
Yep.
But it's fun as hell. We've raised, I know for sure we've raised over $10,000 for nonprofits because the most it's gone for, I think, has been 4,000. The least it's gone for like 500. But it's very turnkey because I literally, when people ask me for it, I'm like, yeah, it's because it doesn't, we bring in our bottles, we pour out like half ounces. It's usually 6 people, maybe 10. So it's very minimal cost. It's time. But, it's a hoot. People really dig it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cause then it's a really intimate experience and we're able to really like hang our hat on the fact that we want to keep giving back. And this is a cool way. Originally, what I did was, we have one gal named Vianette Contreras, who's our VP of operations. She's a young gal. She's probably like later 20s. And when I first hired her, I was like probably midway through my, stint as school board and then on nonprofit board. And, I told her, I said, as a next employee, I would appreciate it. I can't mandate it if you, signed up to work on a nonprofit board. And so she did as kind of like a give back.
Oh yeah.
And, it was a big deal for me.
And then you've got to give her the time to do it too.
Of course.
Right.
And that's been the challenge.
And that's a donation in itself.
Exactly. But she's killed it, which is not a surprise to me. She's awesome. And she's going to be a keynote speaker, or at least a speaker at a national women's conference in Seattle in February. Like due to all of this work, because, you know, there's, like I said, there's not a lot of young involvement in this stuff. You know, the later 40s to later 20s, they just don't exist in nonprofit worlds typically. They're too busy building their careers. And
yeah,
so
there was a whole generation of people that, you know, nothing against that generation that didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you know, it was like live for yourself, make yours.
This whole nonprofit thing is super on my radar right now. In fact, there's a girl here. Do you know Emily Thomas? She runs her nonprofit is called Cafe Puente here in Petaluma. It's actually, you should look at. I have some stuff for you.
Yeah, do the thing with the people.
Do the thing later. But anyway, I feel like it's such a great thing as a business to be able to incorporate. Danny's like, I gotta go. Oh my God. No, you can't leave. You have to leave.
Does anybody want anything else before I put it in my bag?
No, you can stay, Sal, if you want, but
Okay.
I don't want you to go, but I guess you have to go. Huh?
No, quit reaching.
I know.
He's like,
Just leave it.
trying to slither out of here.
Leave it.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it though. Yeah, somebody's on vacation, so
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe I'll
Dee's
stop
been
by.
like going strong
Cool.
all week. So yeah, come by.
So
Yeah.
Danny's
All
gonna
right,
leave.
thank you guys.
Oh.
All right.
Good to meet you, my friend.
Good to meet you, man.
Sorry
No, it's all
that
good.
you're leaving.
Now we can talk about him. He can't
No,
hear
you
us.
just- Wait,
He'll hear
he's
later.
here in the
I can't
room.
wait to hear
the rest of this podcast.
Did he have "I love love" on his arm?
Right? Look at that.
I heart love.
I
like
said that the other day, and then it brought to my attention that he had that on his arm. I'm like, oh, thank you, Danny.
So Brewsters Monday, what's going down?
It's Agave Roast.
So
Danny's in charge.
Danny
Yeah,
is in
we're
charge.
gonna
We can
talk about him now.
Successfully sold a lot of tickets already.
Leave it under the door.
I mean,
Wink, wink.
it's a cool event that they're doing there. They're selling tickets for it. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be tastings, obviously, of the spirits that'll be there. Cool brands are involved. Tapatio Tequila's involved. El Silencio, of course, because they were kind of like the
lighter fluid people.
Yeah, they're the ones. They're the ones that originally put it together.
Wait, that's not very nice.
The horse piss people.
No, I can't speak. You know, it's curious right now because mezcal is such an untapped category, a virgin category, I would say,
Right.
still, that someone one way or the other has to do a lot of work to build the name mezcal as a category. So they're doing a lot of that.
There's,
Like,
there's enough for all of you, right?
Oh my God. That's the thing. Like the misconception, especially in Mexico when you go, is you know, people start creating enemies because they're like, oh no, you know, you're taking my market, you know, it's like, dude, are you serious? Like, you know how big the tequila industry is? Like, do you know how big each category is in terms of revenue?
And
There's
not only
so
that,
much
just
market to be
cut
had.
into the bourbon drinkers and the rest of it. You know?
There'd be a lot of everything. I mean, the categories are huge. I mean,
That's
these
why
big-
2019 so awesome, man. Is because, you know, I don't know. It just seemed like there was a lot less happening in the 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of growth that all of these categories have had to get to where they're at. Like mezcal probably should never get there just because there'll be sustainability issues with the agaves and stuff like that. But nevertheless, like there's a lot of market to be had. People are still hungry for it. It's still new. You know, it's 2019. You're sitting here having like a lot of what you would call your first sip of mezcal.
Yeah, no.
So,
like,
you know, that's a cool thing to me because it's like, you know, there's still so much more territory and market to be had. It's all good. You know, we can all really.
now are any of the
share
big
the
guys?
space.
I'm trying to think of the big spirit companies, but I mean,
Diageo,
yeah.
Pernod Ricard, Constellation, all
Right.
those guys. Yeah,
Pernod Ricard, right? Are
Constellation
they
just
starting to
bought
wiggle into that shit? Or?
Yeah, all of them are wiggling in. Some of them have created their own brands, and I don't think they've been too successful at it, but they have purchased minority stakes. Like El Silencio, Constellation purchased a minority stake in El Silencio.
Gotcha.
Diageo, no, Pernod Ricard bought a majority or minority stake in Del Maguey. Someone, I think it was Vago, went into Samson and Surrey. You know, there's a lot of purchasing and all of that going on right now. So.
And God, like, doesn't fucking George Clooney make a tequila?
Yeah,
or
they have a
something?
mezcal too, actually, within their line.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
good?
Yeah, they have one.
Do you know this brand?
Zila?
What is it? A test?
Zila? Let me
Yes.
see.
It's like if
No.
you,
It's
This is
an
an agave liqueur.
You just did with your phone? Like, have you, like a missing child?
No, but see, like, I've never heard of it. I don't think I'd want it.
So it is funny that this is how my brain works. I am surrounded by so many people doing so many different things, and I'm super inspired in general. He's like, oh, here she goes. Inspired in general by what everybody's doing. It doesn't matter the type of business. It's just my background to help build businesses, but in the branding, but in general, it's just fun to see that somebody's got a thing. I was thinking about you guys, and I was listening to, I think, the podcast that you did with Danny and what's his name? Franco.
Yeah. Can we plug those people? Would that be
Good Time Bros?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good Time Bros. They're killer.
And their podcast fucking rocks. It's just like ours.
Oh, okay.
And they're doing
this has been super mellow.
Gotcha,
in general, you know that kind of cut up funky. You guys are talking about real stuff, but in general, it's just kind of a big social moment. And on theirs,
is there booze involved?
Always.
We cheersed to Miller High Life as we started, and we killed some of those.
I think they open up with Miller High Life every episode.
Yeah, nice. It's a big thing.
They're good.
Big Miller.
It's fun
I've been killing some Miller High Life. They made me like
I remember
it.
High Life way back.
I know, that's what's funny, because I didn't know any better, and they made me try. I was like, oh shit, this is good.
It's the champagne of beers, bro.
I mean, they say it, right? So you gotta believe it.
Whatever.
I like it now. I mean, I'm not embarrassed to say it. I had my phase, my moment of craft beer, and all I would drink was heavy IPAs, and they just killed me. And I can't even do it anymore, which is crazy, because now I drink 50% alcohol booze. But a light beer, give me one of those. I've been a
Bud
fan.
Light. Give me a B-.
It's funny. I just went to New York, actually, and I don't know anything about beer either. So I went on a tour. Not much.
Yeah.
I went on a tour with a friend, and we were just tasting beer. And I have notes. I have literally an iNote about the beers that I liked and what was good about them, what was not. So now if I have to go to a place even Lagunitas, I go there a lot because there's a lot of fundraisers for people around here. And I'm like, all right, let me look at my notes. I'm like, which beer fits this? But in general, give me a dark Mexican beer, and I'm like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So anyway, but back to this. So I woke up one day after all the research and all the listening and stuff, and it was like I had a dream, and I had to write it all down about you guys. And I was like, I have all these ideas, and I just need to throw it that way and get it out of my head, because it's not even my business. But along this lines, it's what I'm noticing as I'm watching spirits brands, and it's not, don't mistake this as me saying women owned spirits brands. It's not the direction I'm going, but there's such a huge demographic. There's such a huge swath of women in general who are really starting to get interested in drinking spirits, and even scotches and bourbons and tequilas, and
cigars.
What I find
too, right?
is So what I find is I'm not a girly girl, you know what I mean? But in general, when you have a brand and you create a brand that it's just a little softer around the edges visually and potentially even experientially, there's this whole market of people out there who you just catch their attention. Not to say that your labels, for example, aren't beautiful. I'm really struck by the black label. In fact, I was a little worried that I liked it mostly because of the label. But, in general, when you're you see a big group of people who are becoming interested in what you do, and you're like, oh, how can I get those people to look our direction? That's why I was like, okay, if you're gonna bring another brand in, maybe soften it up.
Well, there's something to be said about that.
Grab onto us ladies.
Yeah, well, women. So funny enough, Constellation as a big brand company, a big spirits company, they do wine as well. They committed, I think it was $100 million as a kind of a venture fund for women-owned businesses, spirits. So there was a company.
Oh, wow.
There's a company I went to go meet these women in Austin. They have a company. They're two sisters. It's called Austin Cocktails.
These are all the notes I wrote for you. I'm not joking.
Yeah. It's called Austin Cocktails.
That's so great that we can't see
that. They're ready to drink. It's like a Skinny Girl Margarita and all that stuff. So it's so it's like that, but they got some money, a lot based, if you were a woman trying to do your thing in the spirits game or in the booze game, you had their attention. And, I will admit, I know some of the women-owned company in a lot of ways, they end up having this discipline and kind of commitment that I would say give them the edge a little bit, you know?
Yeah. So also, it doesn't have to be a woman-owned company to do it. It just, there's a whole group. I mean, it helps because they can understand the consumer a little bit better than maybe some of the other
And
people.
they understand. I think they have a little bit more patience because people ask me, like, what's your target demographic? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
I know.
I don't care. Like,
people that like good,
I want
good
everyone
mezcal.
to try it.
Of course.
I want everyone to have it.
But you have to catch their attention, right?
I get it.
So
like,
back to the awareness.
I would say at some point when this whole conversation about target marketing, et cetera, there's two ways that I think that can be pursued specifically. One is from day one, if that's what your business model is. Like if you can, like, you know, this water